Philip Knox's he was continually sort of harassing. It seems like another tempest will cause trouble of Beyonce and Jay-Z's marriage. And you could never accept who has recently approached to spill the stunning subtleties of this influence, couple Solange Knowles, who has been watching at her sister's enduring at last, topped on the harmful idea of Beyonce's conjugal life. And it appears as though she's doing it for her sister, who essentially disregards every one of the warnings in her own marriage readings everybody. And welcome back to Celeb Live channel. So it's anything but a mysterious that Solange Knowles seriously hate Jay-Z. And I'm not discussing his music. Since that notorious Lyft occurrence, there have been pressure among Jay and Solange. And keeping in mind that she said she had never intended to plunge into her sister's conjugal issues, she currently feels she got too associated with this wreck. And now is the right time to give the world the reality of the situation. It's in some way becomes a piece of your reality, seeing it in that space. Well, Solange isn't content with narrows and Jay's relational intricacies. So she feels like now is the right time to safeguard her sister from her significant other's poisonous impact, and perhaps with the assistance of public save Sovereign Honeybee from his manipulative hooks. The reports about Beyonce and Jay-Z's marriage have been whirling around for quite a long time, and in spite of such countless hypotheses, with some of them being genuinely crazy, several has in length quit remarking anything in 2008. When they just got hitched, Sovereign Honeybee expressed that she was not wanting to examine her affection life. And that choice was common, we conclude. All that my statement is my statement, what Jay and I have, is genuine. There's no need to focus on interviews or getting the right photograph operation. It's genuine, yet Solange accepts that one of the potential justifications for why Beyonce doesn't talk about her confidential existence with correspondence is the poisonous idea of this marriage. And they simply don't have any desire to be open about the obscure side of her association with Jay-Z. And that incorporates his disloyalty, which the music portable sort of affirmed in his meeting for the New York Times. And afterward now, all things occur from that point. I can't associate due to the manner in which you feel about yourself, you mean. It's been conjectured that this their 15-year-long marriage, Jay-Z, has never been dedicated to his better half. And the hypotheses about him having various escorts turned out to be considerably stronger when one certain woman named Olivia McFaller, otherwise called Yes Live, can approached and transparently conceded how the music big shot was attempting to get her number so tragically for Jay-Z. Olivia McFall was a rapper, so she made an impression on Beyonce in the most Broadway-like way by delivering a video for her tune Sorry Mrs. Carter, and fundamentally filling the wife in regarding it faultless model boats. Like me, however, in a tune Olivia made sense of that she and Jay never dozed together. The rapper indicated that this might have occurred if not for Olivia's high upright standards, and that Jay-Z was absolutely into her. As the rapper uncovered, the music tycoon sent his protectors to get her number so he could get in touch with her and he sent his gatekeepers to me. Excuse me, miss, help me out, put your number on this piece of paper when Jake gets settled, and he'll call you later anyway. As Liv admitted later, the undertaking that might have occurred among her and Jay-Z was forestalled by Solange, who, as per Olivia, was excessively meddlesome and defensive of her sister, and was fundamentally prepared to battle each young lady, was playing with her brother by marriage. So seeing that Solange was very threatening towards each young lady who was abandoned with Jay, Liv wouldn't begin an issue with him, and chose to limit any association with this show. No, I won't lay down with you, right? Not going to be on your transport, not going to be on your visits. Olivia even referenced in her meeting that Solange discovered her conversing with Jay. And this is the point at which she understood that Beyonce has a divine messenger, and her sister, who was following Jay-Z from the very beginning, and keeping him from harming Cove, much more with his unfairness and treachery. Liv didn't have any desire to connect her name with such a filthy embarrassment on the grounds that Beyonce was at that point a huge wise And being a youthful craftsman, she never needed that sort of exposure. I have a ton of regard for Beyonce as a craftsman, as a lady, as a wife. So it seems like Solange has made it her expect to watch jayz and uncover his swindling nature. Yet evidently, Beyonce was never paying attention to her sister and aimlessly accepting that her marriage had been sound. Well, Solange loves her sister with everything that is in her in the event that she is prepared to battle for her joy and inward feeling of harmony with everybody, as Olivia reviews the assurance all over told her beginning and end. As she said, I let you know the day jayz and I traded numbers at Nobu Miami. Solange came strolling up all of a sudden. I assumed I was going to get beaten, so I eased off rapidly. She's been monitoring her sister's property since the very beginning, yet it doesn't actually need to say anything. Solange is a monster. Yet since Beyonce isn't paying attention to the reasons of mental soundness, Solange felt free to choose to uncover her brother by marriage's way of behaving to the whole business. And perhaps this will make Sovereign B at last remove her rose-hued glasses and see this man's genuine varieties. Many fans concur that Beyonce has a seriously twisted thought of her marriage. As one client remarked, Beyonce would rather not completely accept that her marriage is a disappointment, like her folks' marriage. She's presumably being controlled the same way her dad did her mom. And another client added, I mean, it's been composed above and beyond be face of late. She's so hopeless. In the event that others can see Straight's wretchedness, I can't help thinking about how Solange feels. Such an extremely long time since she has been seeing this poop for over 10 years. As she would like to think this marriage is poisonous, and jayz might be in any event controlling his significant other. Plainly, there are a ton of warnings in this association, and as Solange attempts to demonstrate to her sister, there's no affection here. And it's some sort of a business plan, where every one of the gatherings get riches and distinction, yet remaining absolutely despondent. And the most terrible piece of everything is that Beyonce is by all accounts willfully ignorant, as though she's reluctant to recognize reality. No big surprise why Solange accepts that her sister needs a rude awakening. And that is the reason she approached with spilling the subtleties of this poisonous association, notwithstanding Beyonce and jayz being motivation to many individuals, both as specialists and a couple. Obviously, no less than one side is enduring a ton in this relationship. And this is Sovereign Honeybee. She previously conceded that she had been to hell and back with all that profound roller coaster after her significant other's deceiving bits of gossip. Yet some way or another Sovereign Honeybee denies having any issues in her marriage, and she decides to drive her sister away. Rather clearly, the herb star doesn't understand the amount undertakings her sister had forestalled on the grounds that she generally agrees with her significant other's position. By what it looks, Beyonce might be very much aware of all her significant other's tricks, yet enthusiastically shuts her eyes due to such countless things she had accomplished. While being close by, certainly you know somebody, you love somebody that is giving you life. Somebody has done really phenomenal work. You realize it is hard. It's so miserable to see such horrendous relational intricacies, particularly considering the way that Beyonce continues to push her sister endlessly further away. And surprisingly, quit recognizing her reality, like in that discourse. While accepting her Grammy grant, Beyonce appeared to thank everybody from God to her late Uncle Johnny, yet some way or another overlooked one notable individual. I might want to thank my folks, my dad, my mom. She then communicated love, and because of her mate and youngsters. And in the wake of being finished with sending adoration and appreciation to specific individuals, the Sovereign Honeybee wrapped up her discourse by saying thanks to the eccentric local area for their adoration and for concocting the class, yet no notice of Solange. I might want to thank my delightful husband, my wonderful 3 kids who are at home observing great. This might appear to be unusual for some individuals on the grounds that Solange has been fundamentally her sister's guardian and defender for a long time. Yet it seems like Faye would rather not recognize this miserable truth about her marriage. And pay attention to her relative, particularly with regards to concealing Jay-Z. Clearly, Beyonce needs to gain from her own errors. And as she once admitted, she doesn't believe that anybody should disrupt her life, since there's some magnificence in gaining from your own stumbles. Yet I'm advancing so a lot, and I'm committing errors. And I'm gaining from them, and I won't hesitate to commit. I embrace errors, they make it who you are. Many individuals accept that the bad things that Jay-Z imparted in his significant other's psyche are tormenting. The connections between the Glade sisters and Solange can't endure anything else. That is the reason she chose to oppose her brother by marriage, and even uncover the poisonous and counterfeit marriage. As per many individuals, Beyonce ought to pay attention to the voice of reason and stop aimlessly venerating her duping companion. As one individual remarked, she ought to have stood by listening to her sister, not saying leave her significant other, but rather certainly keep her sister as close as conceivable, on the grounds that presently she won't ever know when, as a matter of fact, he is around here treating her terribly. And another client added, "Bah isn't on drugs, nor is she being controlled. She is being a cherishing and compliant spouse, as she should. Jay-Z is one that is wrecking, since he knows the amount she adores him and their children, and never believe that they should be separated. It might require greater investment and work to persuade Sovereign B to change her view on her own marriage, since she likes to remain oblivious to the conspicuous things, and just soul and his openness might reveal insight into the harmful side of this association." And what do you figure? Does Solange reserve any option to talk about her sister's marriage? And will Beyonce at long last see her better half's real essence? Share your considerations in the remarks underneath. I'm anxious to understand what you're thinking. And meanwhile, check my different recordings about Hollywood dramatizations, well, that is supportive of today. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned, and I vow to be back very soon.